Hi, welcome to another episode of Made to Print. In this video, we're going to be talking about erasers. We're going to talk about making a very simple case for this styrofoam eraser. See, we have this dry erase board that my kids like using, and my youngest son decided to take a bite out of the eraser. It is not edible, it is styrofoam. And so I thought, it's an opportunity to design something that is very simple and 3D print a shell that will go over and kind of hide the fact that it has a big bite out of it, but still makes it a usable eraser and something a little more durable than styrofoam, especially with kids. Let's take a look. Okay, we've got our eraser. It is definitely made of styrofoam. Yeah, there's a big chunk out of there. I mean, it's still functional, but it'd be nice if it had a case so it lasted a little longer. So I'll take my trusty digital calipers and just take some quick measurements. They don't have to be precise. I mean, it's okay if they're a little on the small side. I'm trying to squeeze in a little bit to make sure it's. We want kind of a snug fit. I don't want to have to glue it in. Kind of guesstimating here on what I think the height should be. So about 17 millimeters would be good. All right, so here we're in Shaper 3D, which is the 3D design program I've been using probably about 6 months now. Got an iPad Pro, and just the pencil is really nice. It's kind of fun to be able to design with a pencil versus a mouse, and been using a Fusion 360 for about 6 years, so it's a bit of an adjustment to get into this one, and doesn't quite do as much as Fusion as you might imagine, but it's great for 3D printing because I'm not doing anything that complicated. No, articulated assemblies or CNC or anything. It's really just need to make some objects. So here we've got a rectangle that I dropped in with the dimensions that I took from the eraser, and now I'm putting kind of another rectangle centered at the origin over top, and this will create the kind of a cross section of the case. So I'll just pop in probably want figure 5 millimeter thick wall really at this point. So if I put in 135, should give us 10 millimeters total, and so 5 on each. And if I zoom out here a little bit, see if I can, there we go. Yeah, it's looking good. So I don't want to pull this edge and extrude this. I could, but what I actually want to do is highlight all the sketches, so the border and the interior rectangle, and pull that up, and then I'll use the modifier tool here to punch in exactly what I want. So I think if we do, I said 17 millimeters, and I kind of extrude up 23, then we can have enough of a case there on top. All right, so here I've just grabbed it's a little hard to, sometimes between the touch interface and the pen, I can't quite always position things where I want. All right, so this is where I kind of punched in really. The extrude will automatically create an object if you're pulling the shape into, I guess, nothing, but if you pull it into an existing object, it'll cut it out, which is nice. So you don't have to even specify it. You just kind of does it. So now we have a nice looking shell. We could stop here, but let's spice it up a little bit. Let me turn off the body here, so I get a better look at the sketches. And I'll use the text tool put, oops, put eraser in a nice fun font there. In case it wasn't obvious. You know, it's for my kids. Maybe they'll learn the word eraser. All right, now we've got the text on there. It's looking good. What next? So we've got to turn our body back on, the main body there, which is the shell of the eraser. And then from here, what we want to do is actually have the text and then the interior rectangle projected onto that top surface. So I'm going to select all the letters there and the sketches. Oops. Use the project tool, and you can see the little icon there. That's the projection icon. So now we have the outline and the text projected onto the top surface of the shell here. And so what I wanted to do is kind of cut in kind of at an angle, almost like what you might do with a router if you're doing woodworking, and kind of extrude in, but then at a draft at an angle. So kind of like this nice little sloped trough there, a little edge to kind of hold on to if you're grabbing it. And I specifically like removed or excluded the text from that, because if we had done that, I could have done it maybe all at once if I just had straight edges, but because I added that draft angle, I didn't want the text to like look weird, because that same draft angle would have been applied to the profile of each letter. And I kind of want the text to just kind of drop down. So selecting each letter separately and then using extrusion. So if I set it to like more than 3 millimeters, you can see it kind of turns into a cutting tool, which is like an automatic feature of Shaper 3D. So I'll set it to 3 millimeters exactly. But then you'll notice that actually these are not connected, right? Because we basically extruded down to the very top of the previous extrusion. So you can see all these bodies that are created. Those are all the letters. Each individual ones, I can kind of toggle them on and off. So what we'll do next is connect them all together. To do that, we'll use the union tool. So we'll select the bigger, object, and then click through and grab each letter and hit done. And now it's all one object. So I think it's looking pretty good. I want to tweak a few things. I think for here you can see that I've got just one body left, so that's what we want. But we do want to make it a little more friendly, so let's put some fillet on there around those edges. This is by far my favorite part of every 3D design. I don't know why. I just like the tediousness of selecting each edge and then beveling it ever so slightly. I think, well, in this case, we'll do kind of a pretty aggressive fillet, and so 5 millimeters there. But then also want to do it on these interior edges, just to again make it a little bit more of a friendly object. With 3D printing, the edges aren't too sharp, but it's just nice to throw a little bevel on there. It looks nicer at the end. So we'll do a little bit. We'll do a chamfer on this guy, I think, and just 1 millimeter. Good. All right, I think it's looking done. Good enough to print. Do a little flyover here. All right, so we can also use the visualizer, so I can drop a color or a material on there. I think I'll print it in red. It's my son's favorite color, so I'll do that. It looks pretty nice there. You can take screenshots. You can do lots of fun stuff here with the visualizer. Okay. So I fast forward and I ran it through the printer. And actually I had an issue with this. I printed it on yellow just because that was loaded. And the print died halfway through. So this is, I didn't intentionally print a test print, but that's what happened. But it just gave me an opportunity to do a test fit on the object itself. So here's the Octoprint view of it. After loading it in Octoprint, I use that tool for controlling my printer. It's moving very slowly because we're doing just the perimeter, that initial layer. But here's a time lapse of the later parts of the print. You can see I have a couple flyaways there. Those are easy enough to remove. Here it is printing the final layers. I think the total print time on Octoprint said about 4 hours. I think it was like a little over 3. Sometimes the estimates can be off, and then depending on your printer, it may take longer. But here we have the final version, kind of cleaned up, pulled off the printer. Has a nice press fit. Kind of squeeze it in there. There we go. A nice eraser cover for our styrofoam eraser. It still works. A nice print. I'm pretty happy with it. Well, I hope you liked watching that video and understanding a little bit more how to use iPad tools to do design in 3D and then having something that's 3D printed. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments section, and if you like the video, hit the like button, and if you want to see more like this, hit subscribe.